Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to take a look at the Dolphins' newest signing, Calais Campbell, and try to look at some of the different roles he played with the Falcons in 2023 and how that might be able to translate to the Dolphins in 2024. Many fans know him because he played college football at the U and he just stands off the screen. He's 6'8" and somewhere around 285 pounds. This upcoming season will be his 17th in the NFL, previously playing for the Cardinals for 9 seasons, the Jaguars and Ravens for 3 years each, and last season with the Falcons. If you look at his box scores over the years, he's not the type of player that's going to wow you, but don't kid yourself. This is a guy that should truly get Hall of Fame consideration when he hangs up the cleats. Thankfully, that's not going to be this year, and we're not getting anywhere near his prime performance on the field. But thankfully, that's not what we need for Miami. He's still going to be a guy who contributes on the field, but his true value when we look back on the season could be as a coach in uniform who helps to accelerate the learning of Anthony Weaver's defense, since our new defensive coordinator was Campbell's defensive line coach in Baltimore. Since arriving in Baltimore in 2020, Campbell's only played 80% or more of the snaps twice in a game, and he's only played 70% or more of the snaps twice in the past 2 seasons. I think we're going to see a similar usage pattern here in Miami. At this point in his career, there's things that Campbell does well, and there's some things that he probably shouldn't be asked to do. We're going to take a look at all of that. For this video, I reviewed every snap from 4 games in 2023 that Campbell played against opponents that Miami has on the schedule for this season: the Jets, the Jaguars, the Texans, and the Packers. One thing that I noticed pretty quickly in my review is that the Falcons use Campbell in a wider variety of alignments than what I expected. Let's take a look. So we're going to start out, he's in a wide 9 look on the left side here as a stand-up rusher. And the view's flipped here, but this is still on the left side of the line, lined up, head up over the tight end. And now he's kind of an inside shade on the tight end. Head up on the offensive tackle. Inside shade still on the left side of the offensive tackle. And then we'll see him lined up sometimes in a zero technique over the center. Same thing on the other side of the line. We're going to get an inside shade on the tackle here. More of a head up look on the tackle here. Now we're getting a outside alignment on the tight end. And then a nice wide alignment here against the tackle. As we move on to the film, let's start with what Campbell does best, and that's completely shutting down an offense on the front side of run defense. Even though he moves around a bit in terms of pre-snap alignments, the number 93 isn't too hard to find. He's not a defensive tackle. You're not going to find him lined up as a 0 or 1 technique as a nose on rundowns, or even in 2 or 3 techniques over the guard. But he has scheme flexibility in the sense that he can be effective both as a 3-4 defensive end who aligns a bit tighter in the formation, or he can flex out a bit in more of a 4-3 alignment. No matter where he lines up, it's not worth running that way. One of my concerns with the drafting of Chop Robinson was, how do we get into pass rush situations where you let Chop step on the gas and terrorize pass protections? Well, this is a big step in that direction. As you can see on these plays, Campbell essentially shuts down any kind of inside or off-tackle run to his side. Yes, this is a small sample of plays, but you'll just have to trust me that this isn't just a highlight reel. This is truly how dominant Campbell still is defending the run. On the backside of run plays, Campbell plays very disciplined and shows a very good ability to maintain his gap integrity while sliding down the line of scrimmage before letting the running back make a decision, then shedding the block for the tackle. Campbell does a great job of taking care of his body, and his strength is not going to take a step back in 2023. Neither will his long arms, which allow him to keep blockers off of his frame. Okay, let's take a look at the pass rush. So there's a lot of plays where he just doesn't impact the play. His explosion is definitely something that's declined over the years, but he'll still flash here or there. In this cut up, you'll see some reps where he can still make a quarterback uncomfortable. His experience shows in the variety of moves that he's built up in his toolbox. He did plenty of speed or contain type rushes in 2023, and that left a lot to be desired. But you'll also see the Reggie White type hump move from time to time, and his ability to keep separation from the offensive line allows him to be effective shedding blocks using either a rip, spin, or swim move. Overall, you shouldn't expect Campbell to be a primary source of pass rush in 2024, but what he can offer is the ability to maintain his pass rush lane and rack up some cleanup sacks as guys like Phillips, Chubb, Robinson, and Kamara use their speed and explosiveness off the edge. Okay, so if he's not productive as a pass rusher, why even have him on the field in passing situations? Well, that's pretty simple. Throwing over or around a huge defender is tough. Atlanta moved Campbell over the nose in some pass rush situations, not because they expected a Chop Robinson type explosion through the gap, but a 6'8" tower directly in the line of sight for a quarterback like you're seeing in this first play just isn't something to ignore. The next play here, we're going to see Campbell assisting in the contain on the bootleg, but again, having someone who can reach 7 feet in the air without leaving the ground is a unique challenge. And while this particular pass was complete, we've all seen plays where a pass either gets tipped by the receiver and becomes a free-for-all, or it sails completely over the intended target and looks like a throw that should get the quarterback benched, when in reality, sometimes it's just something that changes the trajectory of the throw. And then on the final one here, it's somewhat similar. Again, defending a rollout is going to be more of a scramble, but Campbell's ability to shed the offensive lineman and get his big frame into the quarterback's throwing lane is a factor in this pass sailing wide. When it comes to playing in space, that's definitely something that should be limited at this point in Campbell's career. On this first play, he actually does a really good job of being the read defender and still being able to close the gap on Trevor Lawrence and force the throwaway. However, on this next play, we can see Campbell maybe taking half a step more towards the running back, and he just doesn't have the athleticism to change directions and accelerate for a tackle. But really, not many 285-pound defenders half of his age can do it either. One thing we should really hope that Anthony Weaver does not do with Campbell in 2024 is ask him to spy an athletic quarterback. While I can see the appeal of getting those long arms in a better position to influence a throw over the middle, you can see here that it's just not in the best interest of the defense if Campbell is trying to tackle anyone in space. Okay, that's all I have now on Calais Campbell. This is something Dolphins fans have wanted for years, and they're finally getting it. Campbell has been a top player in the NFL both on the field and off of it for the past 17 years, and hopefully he's able to finish his career right here in Miami where he started. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk again soon.